Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Success Thursday, this week with Aria Omidvar. Hey Aria, welcome back.
Hi Vasco, and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday indeed, everybody. So Thursday is Success Thursday, of course, here on the podcast. But before we dive into that, do share with us, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
I'm the most boring man on earth. My most favorite retro format is actually the what went well, what needs improvement format. However, I do have a larger template that I put this in, or other formats occasionally, and I'm going to tell you about that one. So I have this, you can call it my blueprint. My retros always have three sections: a warm-up, an inspection phase, which is like that thing that we usually talk about, like the format, and then a wrap-up. And the reason that I have this inspection phase capsulated between the warm-up and the wrap-up is that I want the retro to be different from every other thing that a team does, because it is a higher order work. Here we are doing work, but we are actually doing something about the day-to-day work. So it's a second order work or higher order work. And for that, I want them to be in a totally different mindset. I want them to loosen up, to be cheerful, to be flexible, playful, creative, and at the same time, be able to also look at things in a critical way, to keep distance from the work that they are doing so that they can actually look at it with some perspective. I do use different, again, for these warm-ups, wrap-ups, and inspections, I have favorite templates, but to be honest, that doesn't really matter too much. I think the real golden nugget of the retro is not really too much in the what, but in the how. And I'm going to share two techniques that I use in the how that I have seen, especially one of them. I think I've only seen myself doing it. Maybe I haven't seen enough agile coaches or Scrum Masters, but still, we're going to find out about that. So one technique that I do is when the team is talking about stuff, at the same time, real time, I take notes on the board. Back in the day, if it was on the whiteboard, now on a Miro board, I already started text and I start summarizing what they are saying. For example, there's a sticky note, and then there is a cluster of these sticky notes, and all of them, let's say, are about our deployment pipeline. And then they start talking, and then I say, it's unreliable, it's slow, we need permission from someone. So the problems. And then sometimes already in these are the root causes. And again, with some space, I write possible reasons. And then after that, already in these discussions are also possible solutions. And sometimes I double check with the crowd. Maybe it's a domain I'm not very familiar with, or maybe I just want to be sure. I ask them, hey, is what I have written really represent what you're saying? They sometimes correct me or something. The value of this is, to be honest, it's invaluable. One, there's a record. So when you go back to that retro board, you can actually see what was the discussion that was going on. Secondly, it helps the team. Let's face it, a retro board is an extended cognition, a distributed cognition. I'm not sure what's the technical term for it, but whenever you start putting your thoughts on a sticky note and then you start looking at them and connecting them, you're using tools for extended cognition. And this text thing helps it. And I also do another thing in this, the how of retros, and that is I encourage my teams to look at things in a critical thinking way, to really get to the root causes of stuff and start treating them there instead of looking at the surface. I really teach critical thinking basically in the middle of my retros. And I think
what do you call critical thinking in short?
So to be honest, I'm not. Maybe I'm actually using the right or the wrong term for this. But I remember that back in the day, I took this LinkedIn learning course on critical thinking, and basically the basic idea was to get to ask these 5 whys. I mean, usually called the 5 whys, or the root cause analysis, to get to the bottom of stuff. What is it that is causing this, and then addressing the root cause and not treating the surface. Anyone who has ever held retros or who has been in retros has seen developers who start saying, I think we should do this. So I think we should do this is already suggesting a treatment for a cause that we don't even know. So the person who says, I think we should do this, has already skipped the symptom. So what is the pain point? And probably a few causes, and has gotten to his
jumped
to his hypothetical root cause and is already suggesting. And I always bring these two to their attention. So I don't correct them. I say, hey, I have these diagrams. I show them, this is what you've done. And they're like, oh, you're right. So I can't rephrase it. This is the symptom. I think this is the root cause. I think this is a good solution. And this really helps the teams to think I think it's called critical thinking. I cannot be too sure, but yeah, to use the root cause analysis in an effective way.
Thank you for sharing that, Aria. But let's focus on what success is for Scrum Masters. Of course, the reason why we run the retros in the first place. So share with us, how do you define success for yourself as a Scrum Master?
I will give it a shot, but I think it's very difficult to do so. I think success for Scrum Masters, at least from my eyes, can have different aspects or different layers. One of them is changing the culture of a team. And by culture, I mean, have I been successful developing trust, courage, openness, transparency, commitment, accountability, attention to results in this team or not? Does this team, just like individuals have to develop these characteristics, teams too? The other dimension of the success of a Scrum Master to me is, has this team become self-reliant? Do they take responsibility of their own fate? Are they self-organizing? Do they own their work? Are they responsible for their work? And what needs to go hand in hand with this self-reliance or taking responsibility is empoweredness. Is the team empowered? Have I done that? Because for that, I need to do some stuff in the organization to make the team empowered. I need to do things in the management, in the other external entities to recognize this team as an autonomous team. So that's definitely another thing. And I think the last one is, have I equipped this team with the tools and practices that helps them carry out their operations? Most of the, slicing story point, user stories, prioritizing work, keeping the work in progress under control, those stuff. So more of the techniques. And I don't know anyway if this can be measured, really.
Yeah, and this is also
for sure.
The list of things you said actually can be a great reflection helping tool for us, right? Because even though not all of those can be measured as in quantitative metrics, we can assess together with the team even if we are moving in the right direction. So I think that list is really helpful for our what we hope to be weekly reflection as Scrum Masters. Thank you for sharing, Aria.
My pleasure.
Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.